For all my hoopers out there, you're watching NBA Now by Chat Sports. I am Chase Sr. Prove to me that you're a real one. And if you're a real one, you're going to give me a follow on Twitter at Chase_Senior. Let's talk some hoops. Let's dive into these questions. This first one coming in from EASON. Do you think Dennis Schroder could have gotten more on the open market? No. He signed with Boston for the mid-level exception because he turned down that 4-year, $84 million contract extension with the Los Angeles Lakers this past season. He overplayed his hand. Dennis Schroder didn't really have that much of a market, and the market dried up for starting point guards. That's a big reason why Schroder had to settle for the mid-level exception. Let's pivot to this question from Terrence Williams. Do you think the Warriors can get Pascal Siakam? Potentially, and I think Siakam and Ben Simmons would be nice fits on the Warriors. I think Siakam would be a better fit. What are you giving up, though? That's my question for you, Terrence. You'd have to probably part with any combination of a future first-round picks, maybe multiple, because Pascal Siakam, very good defensive player, an evolving offensive player. He's very, very expensive. So you might have to trade away Andrew Wiggins, Maple Jordan, send him back to his home country in Canada, which I'd kind of like from a storyline standpoint, and allow Andrew Wiggins to be the primary player and scorer on the Raptors roster back home in Canada. I wouldn't hate it. Yes to you for giving us this question. Will the Lakers sign Isaiah Thomas? Yeah, according to multiple reports that came out on Wednesday before we went live, Los Angeles Lakers looking into signing Isaiah Thomas. During a Pro-Am game this past weekend, IT went in for 81 points, and there was a clip that circulated on social media of him crying in the locker room. He was sobbing, saying that the NBA had given up on him. I don't know if the NBA gave up on Isaiah Thomas. He was the 60th pick back in 2011 and turned into an excellent offensive player. And back in, 2017, he was top 5 in MVP voting with the Boston Celtics. He was marvelous that season, but suffered that hip injury, a couple of other injuries, followed suit after that. And Isaiah Thomas still just not the same guy that he was back then. Also, he's somewhat of a liability defensively. Can he still get buckets at the NBA level? I think so. Could he fit on the Lakers? I do think so, and I agree with that. SAUCYSON, hopefully I said that right. Any chance Payton Pritchard starts over Dennis Schroder? He's balling out in Summer League. I don't think Payton Pritchard is going to be the starting point guard over Dennis Schroder. I think the Celtics have signed Schroder for him to be the starter, and to get him at less than $6 million for this upcoming season is an absolute steal, and I think Schroder has the potential to up his value going into free agency next season. I think Pritchard is a better player coming in off the bench, but we've seen Schroder have so much prior success as a sixth man. He finished runner-up in the Sixth Man of the Year race 2 years ago. Dennis Schroder is just a very inconsistent player. That's why he fills in nicely as a starter, but can also come in off the bench. I just think Pritchard, better option to come in off the bench, kind of in that TJ McConnell role. So who has had the best summer league so far? Some of these rookies from the 2021 NBA draft class are going off right now. Let me know who has had the best summer league in the comment section right now. Is it Jalen Green? Alperen Şengün? Is it even a guy like, I don't know, Cade Cunningham? You happy with him? Get those names in the comment section. Mitchell Winters, why haven't the Cavs spent their mid-level exception? They paid Jarrett Allen, but nothing else. Don't we have cap? Who's left that's a good fit? Yeah, I don't think the Cavaliers really need to bring in a veteran. I don't think they need to be all too active in free agency by targeting some prime targets. I really like what Kobe Altman and the Cavaliers organization has done. I really like the core that they have going on right now with Colin Sexton, Darius Garland, Isaac Okoro, Evan Mobley, as well as Jarrett Allen. That's a really good nucleus to build with and a pretty solid starting five. Prado with this question coming in on this mailbag. Thoughts on this three-team trade? Ben Simmons and Shake Milton to the Spurs, White and Joe to the Kings, Murray, Vassell, Hield, and picks to the Sixers. Okay, so we got Derek White in there. We got Devin Vassell. We got DeJounte Murray. A bunch of really big names. So there was a recent report that came out that the Sixers were asking the Spurs for like 4 future first-round picks as well as a young player for Ben Simmons. I'm not sure that deal is going to work. Do I think that Simmons to the Spurs could work? I'm very intrigued by the idea. I'm interested to see if Ben Simmons can go somewhere to be the focal point offensively, and you really just surround him with a lot of shooters. And what have the Spurs done in free agency? Doug McDermott, $14 million per year. Bryn Forbes comes back. They have some other shooters on that roster. They've had a lot of success with international players. Ben Simmons hails from Australia. He'd be perfect to go to San Antonio. Doesn't have to deal with the pressure cooker of Philadelphia. I think he'd fit in nicely there. Mike Dibble is back. My guy, he is a chat sports legend. $5 super chat. Thanks for supporting the show. Hey, Chase, how are you doing, and what is going on right now with Lauri Markkanen? Go Hornets. Mike, I'm doing great. I hope you're doing fantastic and having an awesome week as well. What's going on with Lauri Markkanen? He's a restricted free agent. He has requested a trade because of that, and right now he is still technically on the Chicago Bulls. He has been linked to a couple of teams. Your Charlotte Hornets, Mike Dibble, as well as the New Orleans Pelicans. Dallas Mavericks said to be in the mix as well. Lauri Markkanen is a guy who is still in his early to mid-20s. He's a big man who can shoot, but the last 3 seasons, he's missed at least 20 games in those 3 seasons. I still think he has talent. I think he has potential. I think he has upside. I think Markkanen, if he fits in the right system, can really flourish and thrive. Where is that going to be? I think it's only a matter of time. Robbie Lake Show chiming in with this. Who starts in the opener next to Russ for the Los Angeles Lakers? I've flirted around and thought about this Lakers starting 5 for a while. Right now, I'm settling in on Wayne Ellington as being the starter at the 2-guard spot. I think the starting lineup for the Lakers, and I think Frank Vogel's going to mix and match with this a lot this upcoming season, is going to be Russell Westbrook at point guard, Wayne Ellington at the 2, LeBron James at the 3, Anthony Davis at the 4, with Marc Gasol at the 5. But I also think Vogel could mess around with Dwight Howard at the 5, but also Anthony Davis has said that he's willing to play the center spot as well, which opens up a spot at small forward or the 2-guard if LeBron James moves to the 4 and Anthony Davis goes to the 5. So maybe in that case, a Kendrick Nunn or Malik Monk would start at the 2-guard spot. For all my hoopers and homies out there, show me that you're a real one. And if you're a real one, give me a follow on Twitter at Chase_Senior. We're doing this during our live show on Wednesday. If you give me a follow, I'll give you a shout out later on today's live show. Savage Tube, what should the Warriors do to extend their dynasty? Well, they extended Steph Curry. That's a good start. Can Klay Thompson stay healthy? I hope so. From 2015 to 2019, he was a 5-time All-Star, a part of those 3 championship teams, and one of the most lethal shooters of all time, paired with Steph Curry. So I think the Warriors' success this season and over the next 3 hinges on the health of Klay Thompson. I'm not expecting him to be that all-world player that he was from 2015 to 2019. Can he be somewhere in that realm? If that's the case, the Warriors, they're going to extend that dynasty. Locked Pat, what do you think the Western Conference standings will be like? It's way too early to say, but I do know this, and I'm firm with saying this, it's going to be stacked. You're looking at a combination of the Utah Jazz, who were the number 1 seed last year. Phoenix Suns were the number 2 seed. Then after that, you're looking at the Lakers, the Clippers, the Warriors, the Nuggets, the Trailblazers. I mean, the Western Conference is so loaded. Dallas Mavericks with Luka Doncic could realistically be a top 3 to top 5 team in the West. That's why it's so hard at this juncture of the offseason to predict what the Western Conference standings will be like. Let's say this, though. It's going to be wide open, and it's going to be a thrill. Flight with rabies. You never want to go on a flight with rabies or undergo a fight with rabies, that's for sure. Can the Warriors trade for Christian Wood? I think the Rockets want to hold on to him. Christian Wood is a part of that core that the Rockets are building with. And let me say this. For the Rockets to come out of the first round of the NBA draft in the first 25 picks with Jalen Green, Alperen Şengün, Josh Christopher, and Usman Garuba, they get an A-plus grade for me now that I've seen Jalen Green, Christopher, and Şengün play in the NBA Summer League. Those guys have been straight up phenomenal. And I think that the Rockets organization would like to build with those young pieces along with Christian Wood. You got KJ Martin as well as Kevin Porter. Rockets, things are looking up. Matches. Appreciate your question. Who's your pick on Rookie of the Year? My guess is Cade Cunningham. I think it's going to be Jalen Green. Why is that? Because I think Jalen Green is going to light up the scoreboard on multiple occasions. And going into the draft process, I flirted around with either having Jalen Green as my number one player or Cade Cunningham. In one of our mocks, I had Jalen Green going number one, and people ripped me to shreds. They said I was absolutely crazy. You can see why he was getting number one pick buzz during NBA Summer League so far, because Jalen Green can go on a heater and he can score and get a shot from anywhere on the floor. And I think in year one, he has a better supporting cast around him, but also he honestly could average 20 to 25 points per game as a rookie. And if that's the case, I think he's going to be the front runner for Rookie of the Year. Mike Souffront, should the Clippers target Donovan Mitchell? Maybe in a couple of years. The Jazz locked up Mitchell to that long-term rookie max contract extension back, last offseason or the offseason before that when he became eligible. The Jazz are going to try to do everything in their power to hold on to Mitchell and have him be the key player within this organization. Donovan Mitchell is a phenomenal player. He's a wonderful talent. He's a character guy. He's a great leader. His pops play Major League Baseball, and I think you see some of those intangibles work off on Donovan Mitchell when he's just so in control, never really fazed by much. His desire to win is great, and we're talking about a player who averaged 26.5 points per game last year. I think he could be a 30 points per game guy upcoming in the future. Jeoffrey, or is it Jeoffrey? Either one. Hopefully I got it right. Knicks sign and trade for Lauri Markkanen. I don't think Lauri Markkanen on the Knicks would be a terrible fit. Now, who do you part with? Do you trade away Kevin Knox to clear a little bit of salary? Do you part with Mitchell Robinson? Do you go and trade away some premium picks to the Chicago Bulls, who need some future picks and don't have a lot of money to work with in exchange for Lauri Markkanen? I think Markkanen to the Knicks would fit well as a four-man, maybe even a small ball five. I kind of like that question there, Jeoffrey. Chat Sports, I'm not going to lie, we have been killing our NBA free agency coverage. We've been live 7 days of the last 10, including 5 straight days last week. I don't think this is a competition any longer. The better free agency coverage, ESPN or Chat Sports? Type E for ESPN, type C for Chat Sports. Get your votes in, be honest with us, and spit some hot fire. Support what we do here at Chat Sports, because was Woj live for 5 straight days? Hell nah. Was ESPN doing what we were doing, where we were drinking, taking your questions while still giving you the best analysis out there on YouTube? No chance. And if you haven't subscribed to Chat Sports, you should do so right now. You see that link at the bottom of your screen, youtube.com/chatsportstv, or easier, just hit that red subscribe button down below. Support what we do here. And on our live show, I see a bunch of people typing their C's for Chat Sports. We appreciate you as always. Move ahead in this mailbag with this question coming in from Henry Rico. What do you think about the Clippers? They're going to be able to contend for a championship next year. I think Kawhi Leonard comes back sometime in April or May. Theo B. Will Portland sign Michael Beasley and Kenneth Faried? They are playing for their Summer League roster. Michael Beasley has always been a walking bucket since he came into the league in that 2008 draft class when he got drafted number 2. Michael Beasley, I think, can still score. Is he the greatest character guy? Is he going to be blowing trees before games? You never know. Kenneth Faried, great energetic rebounder for a long time in his NBA career. I think he's a little bit more washed than a guy like Michael Beasley. But I would give chances to those guys in training camp because I'm betting low in hopes that maybe they give me something. At the very least, they're experienced guys during NBA training camp. T4K Smith 99. He's been tuning into a lot of our coverage here at Chat Sports. How good will the Wizards be with all of the people that they got? I've said this about the Washington Wizards, and it looks as though Bradley Beal is going to stay in our nation's capital. I think the roster going into this season with the acquisitions that they've made, it's a more well-rounded team compared to them being top-heavy last year with Russell Westbrook. So I understand you lose the star power and the triple-double every night of Russ, but the Wizards are a little bit deeper with some of the moves that they've made, and Bradley Beal is a bona fide superstar. NOLA Pelicans Fan, one of our biggest fans at Chat Sports. Do you think the Pelicans can make the playoffs this year? If they don't, NOLA Pelicans Fan, I'm sounding the alarms, and I'm very worried about the future of Zion Williamson. There's no excuse for the Pelicans to not be within the top 10 teams and at least make it into the NBA play-in tournament. The Pelicans are talented enough. I like them bringing in Willie Green. The Stan Van Gundy hiring didn't make any sense at all because I thought they needed to hire a young coach who is going to be able to establish a culture and gel with some of the players on that team who were all skewing younger as compared to the boomer that Stan Van Gundy is. I think it became pretty apparent that the players didn't buy in to Stan Van Gundy. So I like the hiring of Willie Green. I think he's going to give you more than SVG. I like the trade for Devontae Graham, replacing Lonzo Ball. Don't think he's the player of Lonzo Ball, but is he a better scorer? Potentially. But if you're the Pelicans, got to make it to the playoffs. Otherwise, the pressure is on for Zion. Dating your mom. Nice. With the Lonzo picture throwing bricks with the Lakers with that weird side slingshot. Do you think the Atlanta Hawks stole the draft after getting Jalen Johnson and Sharif Cooper? Johnson and Cooper off to nice starts in the NBA Summer League. Jalen Johnson had a really big game the other night. We're recording this during our live show on Wednesday. Sharif Cooper hit a game winner from the corner. I think he's got ice in his veins. He was one of my top point guard prospects in this draft class. He was top 25 on my top 100 big board. He didn't go until the mid-40s to the Hawks. So I do think that those could end up being potential steals.